Everything Gurkha soldiers did in World War I. This is the story of the Gurkhas in World War I. They came from the mountains not for conquest but for courage. They crossed oceans and deserts, fought in trenches and jungles, for an empire that was not theirs in a war they did not start. From Nepal to the world, the mobilization, 1914-1915. In August 1914, when war broke out in Europe, the Kingdom of Nepal stood firm in solidarity with Britain. Though independent, it offered not only sympathy, but soldiers, Gurkhas. The British Indian Army called up 55,000 new recruits, raising the total strength to nearly 100,000 Gurkhas. By war's end, some say 200,000 Nepalese men had served. At least 33 full battalions marched off to war. And where they went, they left a mark that time could not erase. The Hell of France, Western Front, 1914-1915. It was in the cold mud of France and Flanders that the Gurkhas first tasted modern industrial warfare. Mud, lice, trench foot, and machine guns that never slept. At Loos, the British launched one of the largest offensives of the war. The 2nd Battalion, 8th Gurkha Rifles stormed forward through gas clouds and barbed wire. Of the 800 men who charged, only 49 walked back. Kulbir Thapa Magar's diary. I saw the Sahib wounded, crying for his mother. I could not leave him. I stayed with him all night. I could feel death around us. But I had one kukri and one prayer. In daylight, Kulbir Thapa, though wounded, carried a British soldier across open ground under relentless fire. He returned again and again, and saving 3 lives. He became the first Gurkha ever awarded the Victoria Cross, a medal for valor above and beyond the call of duty. Gallipoli, the unscalable ridge, 1915. In the blood-soaked hills of Gallipoli, Allied forces were being slaughtered. But the 6th Gurkha Rifles achieved the impossible. They captured the heights of Sari Bair, later called Gurkha Bluff. Sir William Slim, archival quote, "I was young, but I remember their bearing shock in one of the most desperate battles in history. Under sheer cliffs and enemy fire, they did what no others could, but at a brutal cost." The Desert Wars, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Palestine, 1916-1918. As the war dragged on, Gurkha battalions were sent to new fronts, deserts, rivers, cities of dust and fire. Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. Battles: Tigris, Kut al-Amara, Baghdad, and the Sharqat offensive. Brutal heat, disease, and water scarcity plagued the soldiers more than bullets. Palestine Campaign, 1917-1918. In the sacred city of Jerusalem, Gurkhas helped lead the final push to break Ottoman lines. At Gaza and Megiddo, they charged with bayonets fixed and hearts resolute. Karam Bahadur Rana's story. April 1918. Facing an entrenched machine gun nest, rifleman Karan Bahadur Rana leaped forward. Grenades in hand, he crept through barbed wire and death and silenced the guns. My officer was pinned, I had to go. If I fell, the next would follow. But I did not fall. He earned the Victoria Cross, the 2nd Gurkha to receive it in WWI. The other fronts, Salonika and Persia. In the lesser-known fronts, Gurkhas served in Salonika, Greece, supporting the Balkan campaigns, and in Persia, guarding vital oil supplies and British routes from Russian and Ottoman threats. Their reach was global, their resilience unshakable. The end of war and the price they paid. When the armistice was signed on November 11, 1918, many rejoiced. But for the Gurkhas, the scars remained, physical and spiritual. 20,000 Gurkhas were killed. Thousands more returned home wounded, to no parades, no pensions. 2,000+ awards for bravery were granted, but the world quickly forgot. The cultural impact: a legend is born. In the trenches, British and Indian soldiers alike were inspired by the Gurkhas. Their kukri became a symbol of courage. Their silence under fire, a symbol of strength. British officer, historical letter. They fight like lions, but with the hearts of monks. I would follow a Gurkha into hell. Peacekeepers and legacy, 1918-1919. After the war, Gurkhas remained deployed in Iraq and the Middle East, keeping order as empires collapsed and rebellions stirred. But their service in WWI laid the foundation for their role in WWE, Malaya, Borneo, the Falklands, and Afghanistan. They had become more than soldiers, they were now a symbol of loyalty, fearlessness, and honor. They came from the mountains, not for medals, but for duty. They fought in silence, they died with honor. They still are, and they always will be.